start. Hi, I'm Kristian. I'm a chief of propaganda at Brains. It's just a fancy way to say I'm a chief of marketing, but chief of propaganda just sounds fancier. Today we're gonna talk about home mining and mini mining. So, long story short, how do you do Bitcoin mining at home? You don't. That's the too long didn't read. It just it's really so big professionalized industry that you just don't do for-profit mining at home. That's the long story short. But there are some use cases in the recent in the last 2 years. I would say very big two trends. One is reusing heat for home heating, and the second one is lottery mining. So those two are really the use cases how you can do Bitcoin mining at home. So I'll tell you a little bit more about it. I will quickly go through. So I'm from Brains. Brains is we're the first mining pool. So we're mining Bitcoin since 2010. Maybe you know us under the name Slash Pool. We renamed the pool to Brains Pool 2 years ago, and we do other software for Bitcoin miners. So what we do is just create a lot of software tools for your Bitcoin mining operations. I'll go a little bit through what we do, so you can understand it. I'll give you a quick overview of what software and hardware tools you need to be mining Bitcoin, so that you understand you don't mine a Bitcoin at home. Basically, and we're from Prague, Czech Republic. So Prague is an awesome city and a really big Bitcoin scene. So if you want to visit and connect with Bitcoiners, there is no second best as Prague. Trust me. For example, so we're from Prague, or Trezor, the first hardware wallet, is in Prague. We have General Bytes, this like second largest Bitcoin ATM producer in the world. So really, we have the first Bitcoin coffee there. The first Bitcoin conference was in Prague. Prague is awesome. I always start. It's good ideas are worth repeating. That's how I say it. So I just want to say why we're in this space. Money is just a technology. It's very simple. We created money. Money doesn't exist. It's not a banana you can eat. It's just a piece of technology that we created as humankind so that we can work with our potential in time. It's very simple. So it's not about, the question is not if we need money. It's about what piece of technology we want to use as money. It's very simple. We want to use money as people. That's very simple. And then you can choose between different technologies. So there's fiat, the paper money that the governments can create, that they can print. There's gold and there's Bitcoin. And then there is a very simple, if you study micro and macroeconomics, there are simple rules. What do you want for the technology to do? So it should be, for example, good money should be divisible. It's very simple. You don't want to pay with 1 kilogram of gold. You want to split it into grams, right? So it's very simple. So there are things that your money should do. Bitcoin is just better. But of course, decide for your own. Free market always wins. So for me, Bitcoin is the ultimate money technology, and that's why we're in this industry. And yes, all the crypto is just noise. Simplified. So if you want to orange pill your friends, that this works for me the best. This is a very short, I don't like to read, I'm very lazy. But this is worth a read. It's very short, it's like 5-minute read. Very awesome blog post about why universe wants one money. It's if we want to use one technology, one communication protocol to be communicating between each other. And so it's a very short history of what kind of piece of technology we used in the past and why Bitcoin might be the future. So really highly recommended read. And with that, I'm very happy. We love Bitcoin at Brains. Obviously, I love Bitcoin. That's why I quit my KPMG work. And so that's why, so there's a new company called Firefish, of course from Prague, because Prague is awesome. And it's a peer-to-peer marketplace for Bitcoin-backed lending. So it's a marketplace, and the mission is you never sell. Well, if we have the ultimate technology, ultimate Bitcoin, you don't want to sell your Bitcoin, you want to live off it. So it's a marketplace for Bitcoin-backed lending, and we just announced yesterday that we invested in Firefish because it makes a lot of sense to integrate it for the miners. Miners, their 100% of their income is in Bitcoin, and they believe in Bitcoin it will appreciate in value because it's the ultimate digital asset. So they don't want to sell Bitcoin. So that's why we think this product is awesome. And if you follow, scan it, all of you. So it's because, and I'm gonna give you a good, show me the incentive, I show you the outcome. It's very simple. So to celebrate, we wrote a new book. So it's called "Bitcoin is the Ultimate Collateral." The mission is never sell your Bitcoin, live of it. Whoever scans it and follows Firefish on Twitter gets the book. That's pretty much it. So, who scanned it can pick up the book now. I think I have enough. So the book is here. I'll be verifying that you followed Firefish on Twitter. Please come take the book. And you can literally do it anytime you want. I'll do that. And if you have any questions, please shout at me. I think I have enough, but really, if you want your book, don't wait and just come pick it up. So, also, you can take the Bitcoin mining glossary. We have just 19 of those. And Dado, please give me more books. I need more books. Yeah, more books. Good? Take it. Good. Please take, I have more books. More books are coming. Good. Don't worry, we have more books. My friend is just bringing more books. Books are on the way. Please follow Firefish on Twitter. That's the price. I'm not a communist. It's not for free. You have to follow Firefish on Twitter. And I have my clicker here. There's more. There's more. Good. Where is the clicker again? Okay. So everybody has a book. Everybody follows Firefish on Twitter. And we're gonna remember Bitcoin is pretty cool money technology, and Firefish is there so you don't have to ever sell your Bitcoin. That's pretty much the intro. I always it's always good to good ideas were worth repeating. So quickly, how I think about mining. If you think about, I want always to take away this. So Bitcoin mining is not solving complex mathematical problems. I'll be repeating that always on every talk I have, because we're so early that I guarantee in the next month when you're gonna see like a BBC or CNN, in the mass media, the article, I guarantee they'll say it's solving complex mathematical problems. We're so early that the narrative is this way. The opposite is true. The truth. So it's not solving any complex math problems. It is just rolling the dice. It's guessing numbers. So it's just rolling the dice. Really, if you think about mining, think about that every hash is just a roll of the dice. And the game is whoever rolls number, for example, imagine you have a dice of 1 million sides. And whoever rolls a dice with a number smaller than 10 wins and gets the ability to write into the accounting book. That's the nature. Why is this way? It's a very fair way how you structure it, who gets the right to write into the accounting book. So that's the long story short. I would go deeper. We don't have that much time. I want to go to more interesting things. But from here, really remember, it's not solving mathematical problems. Here, it has very big. So if you're interested in understanding how it works, read this blog. Everything is on our blog. So brains.com/blog, right? And it has very good implication, because if you think about it, this really helped me. In this way, Bitcoin mining is really like quantum resistant, because my friend gave me a very good analogy. Imagine you want to build a Chinese wall, and you can choose two types of workers who can help you with building the Chinese wall. One is a chess grandmaster, like he's genius, he's very smart. That's your quantum computer. Or you can have a very not smart, but a lot of workers that can lay the bricks. So that's how you can think about quantum resistance of Bitcoin mining. You need a lot of workers that lay the bricks. You don't want the smart guy that can win the chess with you. You just need the brute force, and that's how Bitcoin mining works. So it's about rolling the dice. So we want a lot of yeah, that's pretty much it. If you're interested, go read this on our blog. That's the intro. Also highly recommended. I always recommend this book. So the guy Jan Pritzker, he's a Swan guy. If you Google this book, you can download it for free. You just give them your email. If they didn't go bankrupt, I don't know. Read this book, highly recommended. It really goes step by step into explaining how you invent Bitcoin, how you invent Bitcoin mining in particular. I highly recommend it because it's not technical book, or like it goes into technical aspects of it, but it's not like a coding book. So me as a marketing monkey, I was able to understand it. So I highly recommend it. Really great book. If you want to go one step further to explain, to really understand how the hashing works, how the extra nons, blah 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 blah. So she's called D++. Take the screenshot. D++ on the unconfiscatable conference. She goes really into like you understand the hashing and the extra nons and everything like that. Very technical, very great explanation. So even marketing monkeys can understand it like me. And to summarize how I see proof of stake, it's just people want to be lazy and don't want to do work, so that's why they create proof of stake. It just doesn't work. Like in this universe, we have to create work to create value. So Bitcoin mining is very, very difficult, as I'm going to show you. It is very, very brutal business, but it just matters and it just makes sense. That's the intro that I want you to take away. I really want water. Do we have water? I desperately need water. Anybody has any water that I can take from you? I don't know. I have to talk for another 30 minutes. I'll not do it without water. Trust me.
Trust me, bro.
It's good. Don't worry. Thank you. Okay. So I'll go quickly over hardware, software. I'll give you a quick overview of what you need in the Bitcoin mining space to be mining, basically, so that you can understand you cannot do it at home. No, I'm just kidding. You can do it at home, but we'll see. So I just want to quickly talk about our hardware. Yes, we started mining on CPUs back in the days. Then the GPUs were introduced. Now we're in the era of ASICs. So it's specialized silicon created just to mine Bitcoin. That's what I want you to take away. And so that you understand the scale of professionalization. Love you. Thank you very much. Thank you. So that you understand the scale of professionalization. And you understand how the Bitcoin ASICs are really powerful. So this is a chip from S17 Bitmain, whatever. It's like a Bitcoin mining chip created 6 years ago, let's say. This one typical Bitcoin mining machine would have 150 chips like this, right? So and just this one chip, it's made to do just one thing, just rolling the dice, Bitcoin mining, so SHA-256. This single chip, so it's like a small, like a fingernail. This small chip, we compare it to NVIDIA RTX 3090, like the top of the line GPU back those 3 years ago when we did the calculation. And just this small chip would outperform 30 top of the line GPUs in the Bitcoin mining space, like in the Bitcoin mining task, let's say. And one single machine would have 150 of those. So I just wanted to show you, it's very simple. It's a silicon made just for Bitcoin mining. And if you professionalize, if you focus on one single thing, you do it very well. Your GPU can do a lot of different things. It can, render porn and play computer games. This cannot do any of that. This can only, I don't judge. This can only do one thing, Bitcoin mining, and that's why it's so powerful. So really, this one chip, 30 top of the line GPUs, and in one single machine we have 150. And just to give you the scale, we're talking, so if I would recalculate the current hash rate of the Bitcoin, I would recalculate to how many S9s. S9 is legendary Bitcoin mining machine from Bitmain, and we're talking about 60 million of these S9s would be running currently the global hash rate. So we're talking about large, professionalized, very big industry that is rapidly growing, full of these specialized hardware, specialized teams, specialized companies mining Bitcoin. So we're talking about big professional industry. That's why we don't do it anymore on your laptop in your home. That's the long story short. And just want to share some personal takeaways. So there are basically three hardware manufacturers currently. So there are, I don't, so 1A is wrong. 1A should be Antminer. So Bitmain is creating their machines called Antminer. MicroBT company is creating their miners which are called WhatsMiner, and Canal are creating their miner which are called Avalon. And they are ordered from the biggest to the smallest. Bitmain, we don't have any numbers, so we don't know exactly how much like market share they have. From some estimation, there would be around 70%. So we're talking about a very, very large dominant player. MicroBT would be second with let's say 20%, and Canaan is really the small one. The interesting for me is Canaan. It's a very interesting company because like the guy, the CEO of Canaan is the guy who invented the Bitcoin ASIC. Like he's a super nerd, like OG of the OGs, super nerd, like created the first Bitcoin mining chip, and they are the third guys. They're not doing super well, and like nobody wants to touch Canaan machines. That's why it's very interesting, interesting to see. My point is, don't touch Canaan. And then you have to decide. Bitmain is cheaper option but less quality. WhatsMiner it's my personal opinion. MicroBT is going in a direction. Yes, you're gonna pay more for the hardware, but it's gonna last longer. So for example, all the off-grid miners, so the miners mining, you know, in the middle of the desert on flare gas, they always use MicroBT. It just like an unofficial rule, if you want the quality, you go for MicroBT and you pay a little bit more. So that's my personal takeaway. Don't touch Canaan. If you want to know, if you go and want to buy, we have a good blog post on our website that summarizes. Okay, well, how do I buy machines? Like what parameters? What's the dollars per terahash? What's the efficiency? What are the considerations with firmware? Just go over this, and we also mention who you can contact to buy. Now so we talk about, okay, Bitcoin makes sense as a ultimate money. Mining makes sense because that's the only way we can create the value, backing the digital money. Here's the hardware that you can use for mining, and now I want to talk about the software. So you have the whole picture. So basically, for software, you have 4 layers of the software product. So you have the machine, then you have the data center, so you have more machines, so you have to manage them somehow. Then you have the connection between your machine and the pool, and then you have the pool. So four levels, and I'll explain a little bit each one, so you know what software stack you have to use to mine Bitcoin. So machine level, do we all know how Bitcoin mining machine looks like? I don't have a slide how it looks like. If you don't know how Bitcoin mining machine looks like, and I should have had a picture with it, it's imagine a shoebox. So it's a big shoebox design, metal shoebox, and inside there are a lot of the small chips. That's it. And the machine, so each machine has to run something called firmware, very fancy way to say the operating system. So each machine is running something called mining firmware. One of the products that we create at Brains is the custom firmware. So you can, the same way as you buy a laptop and you can install Linux or you can install Windows, we do the same with the mining machines. That's the long story short. The interesting part here is the hardware manufacturers don't always give you all the features. And it's not like they're hiding or they're malicious. It's very simple. They want to do uniform product that is very easy to sell, and like you don't do any crazy things with it. For example, so they limit, for example, the overclocking options, because they're like, hey, the users would just overclock, not with not good enough cooling, so they would burn the machine. So that's why they limit. They don't give you all the software features. So that's why the market for custom firmwares exists, because we say, hey, maybe you have an immersion setup, maybe you really, really want to overclock your machines, so we give you the firmware that enables it. That's the story, and here I just want to emphasize like how early we are in Bitcoin mining space, because the market for custom firmware, for us, it's a very, very, like it's a big business for us, but it didn't exist as a market just 3 years ago. That's how I want to show like how early we are. Like there's a lot of new products, a lot of new innovation in mining, but it's just a slow game. So really interesting. Like 3 years ago, this didn't exist. Now there are like 3 major firmware competitors. We're one of them. I'll have a sip of water, and here I want to explain one interesting feature. So our firmware does something called auto-tuning. It's very interesting. So when you create the silicon chips, the quality of the chips a little bit differs. It's very like out of the technology. Like if you make 40 million of chips, some of them are, let's say, 8% like worse. Like really, the quality of the silicon is just different. Like there's like a microscopic dirt, let's say, and it's like the silicon is performing a little bit worse. So what they do, and it's natural, it happens with all the silicon that is produced. It's nothing like they produce bad chips. It's just the way we create chips. So what they do is like you sort the chips from good and bad, and then you mix them. So in one machine you have, for example, 150 chips, and they give a little bit worse, a little bit good. And then what they do, they set the like standard like workload on each chip so that the machine behaves uniformly. Let me put it this way. So they create the machine, and then they set like the frequency and the workload of each chip, so they can sell you S21 miner, like that's the model name of Bitmain, which has like 100 terahash at this consumption. Like they have to set uniform workload on all the chips, on all the models, so they can sell you the same thing. Imagine otherwise you would be selling a thing, and one customer would get a little bit better performing machines than the other. So that's why they limit it, right? And so the hardware manufacturer doesn't really have incentive to do it any other way, because they have to sell uniform product. That's my point. So the custom firmware makers, we said, hey, we can look at each chip individually and fine-tune, optimize each chip individually, so that the whole machine can mine a little bit better. So if you use our firmware with the feature called auto-tuning, you can be like improving your efficiency, let's say 10%. So it's a lot, and there is no black magic. It just really fine-tune each individual chip. That's how we improve the efficiency of the miner. And like the hardware manufacturers will not do it, because they have to sell uniform product. So that's the story I want you to remember. So if you're in mining, you should be looking into custom firmwares. It can improve your the quality of your operations and the bottom line significantly. This is the most important software piece in your stack that you should really care about, because this can make you a lot of money. For example, compared to pools is very commodified software. It really, there's no killer feature on a pool. On pool, you just care about the minimum fee. You just want to pay the minimum fee, and there is nothing that can like drastically improve your operations. But firmware, this is where you can make a lot of money, and really like make your operations more quality. So this is how the tuning works. So we look at each chip individually and optimize, so that the machine as a whole just mines more efficiently, or with the same energy you're producing more hash rate. That's the takeaway I want you to remember. And just to have some look, like this is really showing how drastically it can impact you. So this is a S19J Pro, very famous Bitmain model, and the first line is stock let's look at the middle column. So the default power limit is 3,000 watts. Stock gives you this hash rate at this power, right? You're just using brain, so as you're getting 18% more hash rate and still improving your efficiency. It's not a dark magic. It's just out of the Bitmain has to produce uniform miners, and we say, but no, it can be done better because you can fine tune each chip, so you can be making a lot of money this way. Also, there's a good consideration. A lot of people think it's just like brute forcing more energy or like overclocking, so you're damaging the miners using the tuning. Opposite is the true, because we say we really look at each chip, and if the chip is good quality, we're gonna give it more power. So in effect, you're really prolonging the lifespan of your machine, because you're saying if some silicon is good, we give it more power. If it's not good, we give it less. So we take better care of the miner. So really, firmware is the critical component in your mining operations, and we're very early. So the market penetration of custom firmware, by my rough estimate, would be like 25%. So there's still way to go, and we're talking about single digits of better profitability for the miners. So we have the firmware level. It's very important and very new industry. That's my takeaway for you. No, so the custom, so yeah. So the question was if what's the commercial terms for the firmware? The standard is 2.5% dev fee. So dev fee, just fancy way to say we take 2.5% of your hash rate, but it's very simple. We give you better uplift. So like our incentives are aligned. Like if you mine more Bitcoin and more efficiently, we take some of that. So yes, that's the standard, and that's why I emphasize the firmware, because I think even the competitors have it this way. So or no, anyway, if you pay for the firmware and then you have the mining pool for free. That's our deal. Yeah, so we're making money on the firmware this way. So then is the farm level. Guys, take the book. Do you have book? Good. Then we have farm level. There are two software components that I want you to remember. One is something called proxies. So it's just if you have very large operations, you can have a lot of data loads between to the mining pool. There's something called hash rate aggregation proxies. It's a software that we also produce. It's a free software from us. You just package the data loads and so that you optimize the bandwidth to the pool. It's very important for remote locations, for example. So if you have a big mining operation, you want to reduce the data loads, you use something called hash rate aggregation proxy. And then the second one, this is our farm management tool. So if you have a large fleet, if you're talking about thousands of miners, very simply, you need software that will command the fleet. So you need some, because otherwise you would have to go and each machine, and say, okay, I want to restart it, or I want to change the power strategy. So you would have to go each miner individually. So very simply, this is one tool, one dashboard to command the whole fleet. So you can, from all the configuration to the controls, you can do from one dashboard. You hit the button, it does for all the 1,000 machines. And also, so we're just launching this for free, and it's called Brains Manager. We're just releasing this week, so nobody knows, but it's live on our website. You can log in now, but we just didn't announce it, so you're the first guest to know. And the important part is also it has something called it has all the curtailment features. So if you participate in the grid balancing program, for example, there are features that can help you take benefit of that. So very simply put, if you have larger operations, you need a software that will help you command the fleet, and we have that. So we have the firmware level, we have the farm level, then there is the communication between the farm and the pool. So here I want to just mention, so there are no products or commercial products, but I want you to understand. So currently, including, by the way, all the different proof of work coins, they use something called Stratum. So Stratum is a mining protocol. It's just a fancy way to say It's a set of rules how the machine communicates with the pool and how the pool communicates with the mining machines. That's it. That's the fancy way to say mining protocol. And the first mining protocol, like the Stratum V1, which is the current standard on all the proof of work coins, by the way, it was written very long time ago. It's like a very simply put, it was written in 2012 when the whole network hash rate was like few GPUs running. Now we're talking about tens of millions of machines running 24/7 all around the world. So we just say we need better set of rules how those two parties communicate with each other, because we went a long way. So for example, so we are the co-authors, so you can see Pavel and Jan, they are the co-founders of Brains. So they, together with Matt Corello, very OG Bitcoin developer, so they sat together and say, hey, Bitcoin mining will be booming, we just need better standard for the future. So they wrote Stratum V2, that's it. It's not commercial product, it's just open source rules, how those parties communicate to each other, and we say, hey, Bitcoin will be booming, we just need better standard for the future. So that's Stratum V2, so just remember that. It's open source set of rules, how mining pools communicate with miners, and it has several benefits. Just to give you one, Stratum V1 is plain text, not encrypting communication. It's absolutely stupid. It's a human-readable form of non-encrypted communication. Just imagine, right, tinfoil hat, but just imagine if I'm NSA, I can be attacking mining by, for example, withholding the blocks. It's a theoretical attack, but it is possible. Stratum V2, binary end-to-end encrypted. So it's very simple to understand. We need better standard for the future of mining. It's very simple. Because, yes, it should not be plain text, human readable, not encrypted communication. Very simple. And it has some other benefits you can, for another discussion. And then, to finish the whole software stack of what you need when you're mining Bitcoin, then is the pool level. So pool is just you combine more mining power together, and we mine as one. It's a very simple concept. So we created this concept in 2010. Now it's a standard, like you have to be mining in a pool. You cannot do a solo mining if you mine for profit. And here I just want to emphasize, how much time do we have? Okay, it's good. It's very commodity software. Like, you're not gonna find anything groundbreaking in a pool. In a pool solves one purpose. You want stability of your mining rewards. That's the main reason of the pool. Everything else you don't care about. Like, yes, for example, we launched as a first mining pool early this year, Lightning payouts. So we do support Lightning payouts, no minimum, no fees, instant rewards. But it is still, like, it's just a nice feature to have. It's like really, in a mining pool, you care about, I want stable mining rewards. That's the reason of a pool. So my point is, there is not really, when people will come to me and say, okay, so why is your pool better than anybody else? The honest answer is, it's not. All the pools are pretty much the same, and you want to find the other benefits elsewhere. So for example, for us, it's like, yes, we have a pool. It's the same pool as everybody else. Yes, we have a nice UI, a nice logo, but it's not really about the pool. So for us, it's about, yes, we have the farm management, we have the firmware, and so we have a mining ecosystem that just products that work together better. So you always have to find a little bit. So don't look for like the best pool, because there is no best pool. Pools are very boring, very commodity software. You just care about one thing. You want the cheapest fee. That's it. Find somebody that gives you the cheapest fee, or find somebody that offers you the other benefits. So for example, us, if you want to use custom firmware, it's just no-brainer, because you use our firmware, we improve your efficiency, and give you the pool for free. So that's the pool's too long didn't read. Here, so yeah, we introduced Lightning payouts, but it's just small, tiny features. Really, with a pool, you care about stability of payouts and low fee. That's it. And one thing, if you're small, there are pools such as us that don't do KYC. So it's just email. We don't want any other information. But if you're large operation, you could go to. There are also KYC options. That basically you KYC and they give you a better fee, sort of. So just if you're mining at home, please don't KYC. It's very nice, pure sats. So don't be stupid. So Start mining. So here, like super short steps, how you start mining, right? It then really doesn't matter in what scale you do it. First, you really have to understand Bitcoin. So here, of course, I'm gonna show our books. So we published a few books: Bitcoin Mining Handbook, Bitcoin Mining Economics. Those two are on mining. You can of course purchase them on our shop or on Amazon, but you can download them for free. Yes, it's not free. You have to give me your email, but I think it's pretty fair price. So all of them are for free download. Just Google Brains books, Brains Bitcoin books. You can find them. So first start with why Bitcoin and why Bitcoin mining. Really educate yourself. We have more books, by the way. We have also on learning how to code in Rust. We have the glossary, so just and this newly. So start with education. Also here, very good. Of course, I'm gonna show our stuff, but this is the Brains blog. We have everything from how to start mining, why proof of work matter, to also very deep, like the research papers. For example, if you're using intermittent energy sources such as solar or wind. We, for example, did a case study where you overclock using the cheap electricity of the intermittent energy source, but then for mining it's very important to have the uptime. So you want to be mining 24/7. So we looked at how then during the night when solar is not shining, you can use the energy from the grid and underclock, and how that can play out with your bottom line. My point is, from very introduction content, what is mining, to really deep, from technical to economical case studies about mining. If you want mining content, really, yes, it's our blog. Go to our blog. But I want to pinpoint one blog post that I really like. A lot of people want to start in mining, and not just mining. They want to, for example, start working for mining, such as I did. So this blog post is really how to get started. It's like who to follow on Twitter, which mining communities to join on Telegram, which conferences to go to, where to buy. So anything like how to get started in the mining industry as a general, not just mining, but working in it and getting connected. Really, this blog post, I think is the best. So you learn about Bitcoin, you learn about mining, then you have to understand why you start mining. And the why is really, if you're going into Bitcoin mining, you're working against like smartest teams, smartest, well-capitalized, big mining operations, such as marathons out there. So it is very difficult game. Bitcoin is brutal. Bitcoin market is very unpredictable, so it is very difficult, brutal, cutthroat industry. That's what I want you to remember. So if you go for the bold ones get the rewards, right? It can be very profitable business, but it's very difficult. So you have to understand why. And if you're going there to mine for profit, you're gonna be competing with some very serious players. So be careful. Then. If you're like a pleb miner like me, I have just few machines, hosted in Mexico and Paraguay. For me, it is for I want to get the non-KYC mined Bitcoin. So that's my use case. So for that, if you understand that, you can, for example, so I don't care my energy price is not as good as the big players, but this is the premium I'm willing to pay to get the non-KYC sats. So you have to understand that. And then, I'll have a sip of water. And then, of course, you can be mining for flags, such as me. So I go to conference and I say I'm a Bitcoin miner. But the point is, there's the very good use cases reusing the heat. Since the invention of Bitcoin mining, everybody was thinking about one output. That Bitcoin mining is producing Bitcoin. That's the one output, but there are really two outputs. There are very efficient heaters. So if you think about it, there might be a future why would we be producing heat any other way. So there are some, I'll go to show some case studies. I think this will be the topic in the Bitcoin mining sports for the next 10 years. It is really recent trend. So I would say the big discussion in the industry started 2 years ago, but it's it's more and more the past year. So we're that early. We have just few companies building few case studies of some industrial processes that are using the heat. I think this is going to be very major topic in the Bitcoin mining space for the future, and this is the way how you can be mining at home. So that's how it connects to the home mining. So yes, so then everybody keeps asking me where to get the miner. I will just skip this. If you the same blog post I showed you before, how to get started in the Bitcoin mining space. So we give you those three um, companies that been around for ages. So if you want to buy the miners, just go to them. And then you join the mining pool here. It's as simple as that. So here, just remember, choose the non KYC pools if you're a small guy. That's the takeaway I want you to take. And then this is the summary of the whole mining business. So all you only care about the energy price. Miners are the best guys out there to find the cheapest energy on the planet. So you're talking about energy, energy, energy. If you want to be serious about Bitcoin mining, it's about energy. Nothing else. You want to have the cheapest energy. Then, if you have some time after finding the best energy and keeping it, because it's very important, find the cheap energy. But we've heard the bad stories like Paraguay, kicking out the miners and stuff. So really find a stable place. That's my point. And then what you really care about is uptime. If you model all the models, how you model your cash flow, now uptime is the number one king. It's like, of course, after the energy, but it's uptime. Like all the good operations, they aim at having the biggest uptime. So that's gonna be your daily number one priority. So choose your tools wisely because it can help you with uptime. Just to give you an example, so our firmware does something called dynamic performance scaling. Very simple thing. It says when the chip temperatures hit some dangerous temperature, we will scale down the power of the machine. It's a very simple thing, right? The default behavior of Bitmain, of the Chinese firmware, how it behaves, if it reaches the temperature, it shuts off the machine. It's very stupid. I don't understand it. But this, you can very easily see how the software tools can help you significantly with the bottom line, because we'll not shut it off. We'll just scale down, and when the temperatures reach again like the safe temperatures, we'll scale it up. So uptime, and then when you have time, so it's energy uptime, forever uptime, and then when you have time, you have the stuff for Stratum V2 and all the nice stuff. But remember, it's about energy and uptime, and that's the key. And there are some very powerful tools that can help you with the uptime. That's the takeaway I want you to see. So now I'll talk about trends, and we'll get to the mini mining also. So really, number one for me is the heat, because heat is valuable. You would be surprised how much heat we produce, right? So heat is valuable not just for residential, but for agriculture purposes. In many industrial processes, you need heat, you generate heat. So Bitcoin mining can be a smart way how to generate the heat and improve the bottom line of your operations. That's the key takeaway. So we have this blog post. CryptoMax helped us write this one. It documents some of the industrial use cases for Bitcoin mining. So it talks about distillery somewhere in Canada. They use Bitcoin mining heat to heat up the whiskey in some of the brewing process. There are greenhouses. So there are very big industrial scale greenhouses in Netherlands that use the acid heat for the greenhouse. So there are some use cases. We document them on our website, but they're very, very early. Like, there are just few pilot programs. I think this will be the very interesting space in the Bitcoin mining space for the next 10 years. But then also, so greenhouse, yes, we spoke about that. But then also, I love the pleb miners out there. So this guy, yeah, so this is actually a step-by-step guide on our blog also, how you can build the whole home heating system using the acid heat. There are, so that's for that. And then the new trend is also the English home space heaters. So this company is called Heatbit. They launched like several months ago. Very successful, very, very successful story. They're selling a lot. I just want to like it's a normal standard heater, but it generates the heat using the Bitcoin mining chips. That's it. That's the story. I love it. I think that this is the way that we can more decentralized hash rate, how we can get more people to have hands-on experience, or it can be the way that the even a lot of people don't know, right? So we can have a lot of people actually mining Bitcoin at home with these devices, and they don't care it's about Bitcoin mining. They just care about it's a cheaper to operate. So this way we can really, I think, grow the hash rate and grow the decentralization. So I'm very, very excited about this use case. Yeah, and just to show you, this this as a market didn't exist a year ago, and now we have also German company 21 Energy. They are doing the same thing, residential and home heating with Bitcoin mining, and we have a company Riot, Switzerland-based startup for doing the same thing. So I'm very, very excited about it. Look out for that. Again, 21 Energy and Riot, I think they're running around somewhere here. Great guys, great projects. And this guy, love it. So this guy created hot tub using the ASIC heat. So my point is there are a lot of very interesting projects out there, and I think we'll be reusing the heat a lot. And this is the way you can be mining at home, because it really can make sense if you reuse the heat. Yeah. So that's why next month we're launching a new book called Bitcoin Mining and the Heat Reuse. I love the story of the guy. Tyler Stevens he's a rocket scientist that was building rockets for army in the U.S. And one day he's like, but I don't want to be, I want to be making the freedom tanks. So he joined Bitcoin mining, and now his specialization is on heat transfers. And so he's not building rockets anymore. Now he's thinking about how reusing the heat can decentralize the Bitcoin hash rate. So I love it. We're going to launch it, I think, in a month. And of course, it's going to be for free download. Follow us on Twitter. We're gonna announce it there. Also interesting, so another trend that I want you to know about is the cooling technology, because for a very long time, the dominant cooling technology in Bitcoin mining was just airflow. It's very simple because it's very easy to set up. So it's the airflow, but now in recent years, very recently I would say, it's very booming immersion versus hydro. So on the left, you can see there are big hot tubs, basically big baths that you put mineral oil inside, like demineralized oil, and you put the machines in. The oil can very effectively take away the heat, and so you can very, very well also overclock using the immersion. Versus hydro, so this on each chip there's a metal touching and the water flows through. Very simply put. So there are literally water going inside the miner and cooling the miner. So those two, I think it's going to be very interesting. Really, like the commercial big scale project, like started recently. I think. Anyway, Bitmain is now producing more hydro containers, by the way, and they're just launching their first immersion container. For me, it's just interesting to see what will happen, like which technology will be the dominant. So I think the air cooling will still win because it's just easy to set up. It doesn't require extra stuff, Here you're touching oil. It's messy. It's ugh. There you have water. Water and electricity, it doesn't really goes well together, so it sucks too. But it has some really good cooling properties. So I think we'll see air cooling will be still the dominant one, but we'll see those two rising. We see that already. But I'm very interested in which will win. I have no bet yet, because really here it's very messy. You're touching all there, electricity with water. Ugh. But I'm interested to see what will happen. While I'm mentioning it here, this is a very good way to reuse the heat for residential use, because you can put the oil into pipes and have floor heating, for example, this way. So that's why I'm mentioning it here. If you're interested, of course, on our blog post, we talk about each individual cooling technology. What are the pros? What are the cons? Very, very in depth. And then we go to, so the takeaway of this talk is Bitcoin mining is very, very large, very professional business. So to do it at home, you really have to know why. So for me, there are two ways to do it. One is using the heat, so you can work with a little bit more expensive energy because you're also using the heat as a product, or there's something called mini mining. So I'll have a sip of water and tell you about our mini miner. So recently, I think in the past year, very big trend of something called mini miners. So a lot of people want to have hands-on experience with Bitcoin mining, and they want to play the lottery. So that's why we also entered this market. So we launched something called Brains Mini Miner. It's a 1 terahash machine. Just to give you a comparison, right? The normal standard machine that you mine for profit, it's 3,000 watts and produces 100 terahash. This it's 40 watts, so it's like a light bulb, and mines with 1 terahash. So you'll never get rich out of this. So mini mining is not for profit mining. With this machine, you would be mining, if you mine on a pool, you would be mining 70 sats a day. So how much is 70 sats? 0.2 cents. So you're saying, well, okay, but you're mining 70 sats. It never pays for itself. So why people are buying it? So a lot of people, so they really want to have the hands-on experience with the mining as a technology, and they do something called solo mining. So yeah, and we also integrate that's our biggest differentiator against all the competition. We have we say it should be a block clock, so you can get at least some value out of it, but not just the mining. So it's about the solo mining is really the use case why people buy this. So people buy it and people start solo mining. So you're not connecting to a pool, you're trying to find the whole block yourself. If you do, then you win the 3.1 Bitcoin as a reward. The chances are super tiny. I'm not gonna lie, the chances are tragic. You're competing with 650 exahashes of mining power right out there, but it still happens. So in the past year, I think there are several of the guys mining with the very small hash rate. But my point is, I don't want to sell it as it's very, very tiny probability. I'm not gonna lie. If you combine the whole year probability, it's better than winning a lottery, but it's still nonsense, right? So don't buy it in order for you to win your retirement. Buy it so you can have hands-on experience, because our miner, so those are all the screens that you can use. So that's how we. So for us, it's we want to start doing hardware, because we're a software company since 2010, and naturally the next step for us is hardware. That's why at Brains we created something like mini miners. So for us, it's really getting into the hardware game and showing to the market, yes, we can produce this, we have the hardware knowledge. That's why we do it. And also for me, it was a very touching moment, because as I mentioned, the Stratum V2, this is the first Stratum V2 hardware on the planet. So I was very, very happy about that. But why I talk about this, for me, the ultimate use case for the mini mining, yes, people love it because they gamble. Not gamble, it's every 10 minutes you participate in a Bitcoin lottery, and you don't have to go anywhere, to buy the scratch cards, and you have a very good consciousness, because you're supporting the hardest money ever invented. You're not giving to lottery companies for them to be more rich. So that's why people love it. But for me, it's about the education, really. So our mini miner costs $300. For $300, you're really touching all the software that I mentioned. For $300, you can have hands-on experience with all the software stack that runs on the biggest mining farms on the planet. So you're touching the firmware. You can play with underclocking, overclocking, dynamic performance scaling. Then you can connect it to our management tool, so you can try all the different features, and then you connect to a pool. So my point is, this way you can very, very easily get started in the Bitcoin mining space, because for $300 you're gonna touch all the software components that are out there. So if you're interested in what's the solo mining, what's the lottery mining, we wrote a step-by-step guide. Also very transparently, we talk about the, absolutely ridiculous odds of you winning the block. So if you read it, you're gonna have all the story, and not to show just our product. So there are three main products that you can currently buy. So this is the open source Bitax. This is the Canon that you should never touch it, as I mentioned. And then there's us. They're just different. Different products. So if you're, for example, if you want the best dollars per terahash, but we're still talking about ridiculously small numbers, right? So for me, it's like comparing, nothing to nothing 0.1, right? So Bitax is really cool project because it's open source, so that's very interesting. It's very cheap, very good option for you to start. But for example, for me, we say, but we're running the full-blown mining firmware, so you can get hands-on experience, and we have a display that can work as a block clock. So it's an awesome product, but it's just a little bit different. And then Canon is very good, like the dollars per terahash, but just they suck. Like the Canon is a terrible company, and they should be improving, creating good products, and they come up with a mini miner. I don't understand that company. If you want, buy Bitax. If you want to have something open source at home, or buy our product, because I'm gonna give you a 10% discount. And that's pretty much it. That wraps it up. I hope you enjoyed the talk. If you have any questions, please talk to me. I have more books, and that's pretty much it. Thank you.